So, what if the companies that actually make our stuff were also responsible for cleaning up the mess it leaves behind? It sounds kind of radical, right? Well, that's the big idea at the heart of a new law in Chile, and it's completely flipping the script on how we think about trash.
Come on, we all have them. That drawer of electronic junk we don't know what to do with. Maybe we toss it, maybe it just sits there gathering dust. But have you ever really stopped to think about where it all ends up? That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? As our lives get more and more digital, that pile of old gadgets just keeps getting bigger. And for a long time, figuring out who should deal with it has been, well, a problem that just gets passed down the line.
Okay, so let's first dig into the old way of doing things, the system that helped create this mountain in the first place. For a long, long time, once you bought something, its final destination was basically your problem. You, the consumer, and your local town or city were left holding the bag. But what if we could just flip that script entirely? And that brings us to Chile's really groundbreaking new approach. It's a fundamental rethinking of who should be carrying the weight of all our waste. At the center of this whole revolution is a concept called extended producer responsibility, or EPR for short. In a nutshell, it's a legal framework that stretches a company's responsibility for its product all the way to the end of its life. At its heart, the idea is just common sense, right? The thinking is that the companies who design, build, and make money from these products are in the absolute best position to manage their disposal and recycling, too. And look, this isn't just some nice idea. It's the law. Law 20.920 makes this official. You can see here how the scales of responsibility are being completely rebalanced, moving that huge financial and logistical burden away from us, the public, and putting it right onto the producers. Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Who exactly counts as a producer, and what do they really have to do? Let's break it all down. The law is super specific about this. A producer isn't just the factory that made the item. It could be the very first company to sell that product in the country, or a business that slaps its own brand on something, or even a company that imports gear just for its own use. Bottom line, if you bring it into the market, you're on the hook. And their new to-do list? It's pretty serious. First, they have to officially register and report everything they're selling. But here's the kicker. They have to organize and pay for the whole system of collecting and recycling their products' waste. That means hitting specific targets set by the government and making sure the entire process is handled by legit, certified professionals. Now, you might be thinking, how can one company set up a recycling network for the entire country? Well, they don't have to go it alone. Instead, producers team up to create and fund these things called management systems. You can think of them like recycling co-ops, handling all the complicated logistics for all their member companies. So, that's the plan on paper, but what does it look like in the real world? Let's take a look at how this law is actually being rolled out. The law is targeting 6 specific types of products they're calling priority products. And what's really key to get here is that this is a phased rollout. As you can see, the systems for tires and packaging, they're already up and running, and now the focus is shifting to that next big wave. And that brings us right back to that old phone and those dead batteries from the beginning. The rules for electrical and electronic devices are just now starting to kick in, which means this whole system is finally coming for our e-waste. And this is not some far off in the future plan. This date, July 15th, 2024, is the deadline for all those electronics and battery producers to report everything they sold back in 2023. This is the first critical step for calculating their recycling quotas. I mean, this is happening right now. With all this talk about what the producers have to do, you're probably asking, okay, so what about me? What's my role in this new recycling revolution? Well, the ultimate goal here is to change our entire economy, to move away from that old linear model where we just take resources, make stuff, and then throw it away. This new law is basically a powerful engine designed to build a circular economy, where waste isn't waste anymore. It's a resource to be fed right back into the system. And here's where you fit in perfectly. The producers sell their stuff and pay for the whole recycling system. You buy it and use it like always. Your only new job is to take that product, when it's at the end of its life, to a collection point. That could be a store, a local drop-off spot, whatever. From that point on, the system that the producers paid for takes over completely. So here's the most important takeaway for you. The financial burden? Gone. The headache of figuring out what to do? Gone. Your responsibility has been simplified to one single essential action. Just participate. By simply returning your old electronics, you become a vital link in this brand new circular chain. Chile is making a really bold bet here by putting the responsibility squarely on the shoulders of the folks who make the products. They're not just cleaning up waste, they're actually creating this powerful incentive for companies to design products that last longer, are easier to repair, and are simpler to recycle from the get go. Definitely a question worth thinking about.